Hello everyone, so today I'm going to be doing another collection video. So this time I'll be talking about the Criterion Blu-ray collection. So Criterion is actually an American label and there are over 1,000 1,000 spines in the collection. So there is lots there, but here in the UK we only get a handful of them, so we don't get all of them, we get a select few. So yeah, so obviously I don't have anywhere near the whole collection. I actually have 20 in the collection. I bought 2 more yesterday, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a collection video. And Criterion are an excellent label. They're possibly the best Blu-ray label, definitely in terms of quality, the picture quality, the sound quality, and also they present them in a very nice way. They have lots of special features. And they have a wide range of films, really excellent, and most of them are absolutely superb. We get lots of classics as well as some more modern movies as well. So I'm going to talk through them in spine number order. So without further ado, let's get to it. So first of all, I have spine number 97, which is Do the Right Thing. So this one actually comes in a different packaging than the standard Criterions, as you can see here. See the packaging here, got the pizzeria, and it also comes with a fantastic booklet as well. Here we go. Really is an excellent read. Yes, it's film directed by Spike Lee, and this book really talks about how Spike Lee got the ideas of the film, how he got everything together, including the cast members. Very good read, highly recommended. The film itself is very thought-provoking. And yeah, this Criterion Collection, it gives an excellent transfer of it, so the film is well worth a watch. So next up we have spine number 103, which is The Lady Eve. So this is what the standard Criterion cases look like. This is a rom-com, Barbara Stanwyck and Henry Fonda, and it's a nice, easy watching film. I have to be honest, I did find some of it a little bit boring. I think with these romantic comedy movies, they don't tend to be my favourite film genre, but I find myself watching a lot of them because a lot of them are classics and I'm really into classic movies. Nevertheless, an excellent film in many ways and yeah, a very nice watch. So next up, I have spine number 545, which is Easy Rider. So this is a counterculture cult classic movie from 1969, and it was very popular at the time when it came out, particularly with the hippie movement. This film has Peter Fonda, Dennis Hopper, and also a young Jack Nicholson as well. This is not one of my favourite films, I have to admit. I've watched it a few times. And it's one of those films where not really very much happens in it, but it's more about the lifestyle of these guys going out there, being themselves. It's about being free, about individuality. Very much it's about this point in history in American culture. So it's more about the cultural relevance, although I do enjoy quite a lot of aspects of it as well. Very nice looking film. And the soundtrack is absolutely brilliant. We have the song Born to be Wild from Steppenwolf, which is superb. Okay, next up we have spine number 546, which is 5 Easy Pieces. So this film also stars Jack Nicholson, except it's more of a drama. And I think I prefer this film, definitely more of a personal film. Yeah, Jack Nicholson, actually one of my favourite actors. He gives a great performance in this film, so I'd really recommend this movie. Next up we have spine number 591, which is 12 Angry Men. So this is one of the more famous films in the Criterion Collection. Quite a simple story about these 12 men, a part of a jury trying to decide whether a man is guilty or not. Really excellent watch, excellent cast. Henry Fonda is really the main star of the film. Just a very gripping film. Even if it does look very boring, this is definitely worth checking out. Next up, we have spine number 662, which is Safety Last. This is a silent film from 1923 starring Harold Lloyd, and it's a very entertaining movie. Like a lot of silent films, it relies on sight gags and slapstick, but this one has a very entertaining sequence towards the end of the film, as demonstrated by this cover, where Harold Lloyd is climbing up a building and he's hanging off a clock. Just a really entertaining movie, really good fun. Can't really say much bad about this one, to be honest. Next up, we have spine number 692, which is It's a mad, 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 mad world. So this is one that I actually bought yesterday and I haven't watched yet, but I do know it's a comedy film and it has a real ensemble cast. So we have Spencer Tracy, Milton Berle, Sid Caesar, Buddy Hackett, Ethel Merman, Mickey Rooney, Dick Shawn, Phil Sivers, Terry Thomas and Jonathan Winters. A lot of those names are very big back in the day, certainly as comedians. So I'm really looking forward to watching this movie. It does have a very wide screen, very wide aspect ratio, so I'm looking forward to watching that. And it is very long. I don't know much about it except as a comedy movie, but definitely looking forward to checking this one out. Next up, Spy Number 736, It Happened One Night. This is another classic rom-com, directed by Frank Capra, starring Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert. And this is a really excellent film. Some very funny moments in this film. I think the two leads have excellent chemistry. And yes, I think in terms of the classic romantic comedies, this is definitely one to watch. So next up, we have 738, Spy Number 738. We have Tootsie. This is a comedy film with Dustin Hoffman in drag. Yeah, he dresses up as a woman to get a job, to get part in a soap opera. It's a pretty funny film. It's not one of my favourite movies. It is one of those films which tends to be very highly rated, especially often regarded as one of the greatest comedy films of all time. I've seen films funnier than this, but still, this is a very easy watch. Also, there's Bill Murray in it as well, who's pretty funny. And yeah, so I'd recommend this one if you like, well, if you like Dustin Hoffman, definitely, and if you like comedy movies, really good watch. And next up we have Spy Number 742, which is the Palm Beach Story. So this is one of those classic screwball comedies. This one also has Claudette Colbert in It Happened One Night, this time alongside Joel McCrea. And this is actually a really fun film. It's a really silly film in lots of ways, like a lot of films in this era. And yeah, this cover is brilliant. It sort of illustrates the story, if you can see it. So we have the two leads on the train, and then there's some crazy guys with guns that we also see on the train, and then the guy in the boat also wants to marry Claudette Colbert. So yeah, it's a really silly, wacky, funny film. I would really recommend that one. So next up we have Spy Number 806, which is Only Angels Have Wings. This is, well, it's a really funny film, actually, quite a clever film in many ways. It's got Cary Grant and Jean Arthur. It's also seen as an adventure film in many ways, with these sequences with these planes. And the special effects actually do look very good for the time. This was 1939, this film was. Looks absolutely excellent, very funny, and just an entertaining movie. So next up we have Spy Number 821, which is Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. This is another one which is in a different packaging than the standard Criterions. You can see here. There we have. Look, there is the bomb. Yeah, no, this is a classic comedy movie directed by Stanley Kubrick. And I have to admit, not one of my favourite Stanley Kubrick films, but it is very clever in lots of ways. There's lots of jokes here and there. Peter Sellers is particularly magnificent in this film. He plays 3 different characters, including the title character. Just an excellent comedy film. Yeah, I'll definitely recommend this one. Okay, so next up we have Spy Number 833, which is Cat People. So this is a horror movie from 1942, and this is really good fun. This is a really short and sweet film, only 73 minutes long. Very simple story, simply about this woman who, well, as you can probably tell by the front cover, she turns into a cat at some point during the film, possibly. And the film was very clever in showing us this, because it doesn't really reveal too much. It doesn't give too much away. Always leaves a bit of mystery in the air. It's very nice build up toward the end. Really very well paced film. An excellent movie. And next we have Spy Number 901, The Philadelphia Story. This is another classic romantic comedy, and we've got a great cast in this one. We've got Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn and James Stewart, so 3 big names. This is another really easygoing film, slightly silly in places. It's like a lot of films from the era, but it is just good fun. And yeah, the 3 leads all give great performances, particularly Katharine Hepburn actually. And this was actually, I believe, yes, actually I'm just looking at the back, James Stewart won his only Oscar for this film. So yeah, that's just an interesting fact. Next up we have spy number 925, which is Midnight Cowboy. So similar to Easy Rider, this is almost seems very much a counterculture film. In fact, it came out the same year as Easy Rider. Jon Voight and Dustin Hoffman, these two guys in New York City. It's quite a dark and gritty film. I have to admit it's not one of my favourite movies, but I do appreciate some aspects of it. And I do really like the song Everybody's Talking from Harry Nilsson, which is played during the beginning sequence. And there's a real charm to it, a real likability. So may not be to everyone's taste, but definitely for cultural relevance, worth checking out. And next up we have spy number 970, which is A Face in a Crowd. So this is an excellent movie. It's directed by Elia Kazan, starring Andy Griffith and Patricia Neal. So Andy Griffith's a guy who becomes a sensation very shortly. He becomes a radio star, he becomes a celebrity, and his ego really sort of gets in the way. He becomes very full of himself and starts to become very unlikable as the story goes on. So a really excellent movie, just a fantastic idea just about the media, I suppose. It's similar to some other films, something like Network or Ace in the Hole, but this is just an excellent movie, and Andy Griffith, is absolutely brilliant in this movie, so I would recommend this one. So next up we have spy number 974, which is The Heiress. So this is another one that I bought yesterday and I have yet to watch. Directed by William Wyler and it stars Olivia de Havilland. I actually don't know too much about this film. I think Olivia de Havilland, she marries Montgomery Clift's character, but I think it's Olivia de Havilland's father, who is played by Ralph Richardson, doesn't like Montgomery Clift's character. I think that's basically it, but I don't know because I haven't watched it yet. But I'm looking forward to checking it out. I like Olivia de Havilland, and William Wyler is one of those directors who has done some great films like Ben-Hur and also The Best Years of Our Lives. So I'm looking forward to watching this. And next up we have spy number 979, which is Swing Time. This is a classic musical film. Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, they obviously did quite a few films together, and this is often regarded as one of the best. And it has some fantastic dance sequences in, particularly towards the end, some great songs. In terms of the plot and the romance, probably not the strongest element of the film, but nevertheless, it's a good time. And next up, we have spy number 1021, which is Showboat. So this is, well, a fairly famous story, which was originally it's based on a novel by Edna Ferber, and this is a brilliant adaptation of it. And this is actually a fantastic film. It's a musical. You get a brilliant cast in this film. Irene Dunne, Helen Morgan, Hattie McDaniel, and it's a fantastic story, really set over a period of a few decades. It starts off in the South in the 1880s, moves into the early 1900s, where it goes towards the North, showing this family. It's a musical film. They're on this steamboat on the Mississippi River. There's just some fantastic songs, and particularly the song Old Man River, which is sung by Paul Robeson. That sequence is fantastic. I'd really recommend this film, actually. I was surprised by how much I liked it. So yeah, that is Showboat. And last but definitely not least, we have spy number 1024, which is Destry Rides Again. So I would describe this as a western, but with a bit of a comedy spin to it, because it does have some funny bits in it. It's not laugh out loud funny the whole way through. There are some darker moments, but it's just a very entertaining movie. I just really like this one. It has Marlena Dietrich and also James Stewart. So James Stewart, he's the new sheriff in town, though no one really takes him seriously because everyone thinks he's a bit of a softie. Though eventually turns out that he can be quite intimidating after all, and he eventually does start to take control of the town. Really excellent movie, really good fun. I would highly recommend this movie, actually. So there we go. So that is my Criterion Blu-ray collection. I'm definitely hoping to get more in the future. Criterion are an excellent label. They have loads of great films in their selection. They do tend to be quite pricey. They are quite expensive, but I think you get what you pay for. I think in terms of the quality, it's absolutely excellent. You get brilliant quality in terms of special features, the presentation. So I always look out for films I'm interested in, and if it's in the Criterion, then I will most likely get it. So I definitely hope to get more in the future. I would recommend Criterion as a label if you're a Blu-ray collector, definitely, and especially if you like classic movies or even some more modern films. I know, well, pretty much all the films that I have are classics. There are some more modern films. There are some from the 2000s and 2010s as well, which are on the label. So yes, obviously do be aware they can be fairly pricey. So maybe don't go crazy. But yeah, it's taken me, well, about a year to get, well, just over a year to get that many. So yeah, I don't go too crazy, but there we go. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.